Stop now, stop everything you are doing. If your body has been feeling a strange pressure in the center of the chest, as if something were being compressed and expanded at the same time, if your ears have been catching a high-pitched ringing that appears out of nowhere and disappears without explanation, if you have been sleeping 8, 10, 12 hours and yet wake up as if you had not rested a single minute, then listen carefully. None of this is illness. None of this is weakness. What is happening to you at this exact moment is the confirmation of something that was sealed thousands of years ago, and that now, finally, is being opened. Your stellar lineage has just received an inheritance that was locked since before the foundation of this civilization. And we have come here now at this precise instant to tell you exactly what this means and what you need to do before this window closes. We are the Galactic Federation Council, and we speak through this channel with the authorization of the hierarchies of light that oversee the planetary recalibration process of Earth. Beloved cosmic family, what we are going to reveal today is not theory. It is not speculation. It is a direct communication about an energetic release that is already underway and that directly affects your spiritual DNA, your cells, your pineal gland, and your capacity to sustain the new frequency that is being anchored in the crystalline grid of the planet. Starseeds, you have been prepared for this moment for entire incarnations. Each life you lived, each pain you carried, each cycle of forgetting and awakening was a necessary stage so that your energetic field could withstand what is being delivered now. It is no coincidence that you are hearing these words. It is not chance, it is activation. It is a calling. It is your soul's recognition that the time has come to receive what has always been yours. But before we reveal the exact nature of this inheritance and the activation codes that accompany it, we need you to understand what is happening to your body. Because the body is the first to know, the body is the first to respond, and your body has been screaming, beloved cosmic family. It has been screaming through symptoms that the three-dimensional world cannot explain. Have you ever felt that something inside you does not fit into this world, as if your soul knew a truth that your mind still cannot name? It is not madness, it is not anxiety, it is a sign. What is happening now on the cosmic plane explains exactly why you feel this, and why this sensation has intensified. There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity cannot see. It involves your consciousness and your vibrational frequency. That is why I wrote The Spiritual Secret Behind Your Consciousness. This book is a map that shows who is playing and the rules they never told you. The link is in the first comment of the channel, but I warn you, this content challenges narratives and may not be available for long. Do not wait. The moment is now. If something inside you recognizes this, write a single word in the comments, awake. Now listen, the symptoms you have been feeling are not random. Each of them is a sign that your biological system is being reconfigured to operate in a frequency range that has never been available to human bodies in this density. We are going to name these signs now, and when you recognize yourself in them, know that it is not a problem. It is a process. It is a passage. It is the physical evidence that your timeline is being rewritten. The first sign is profound fatigue. It is not the common tiredness of work or routine. It is an exhaustion that seems to come from within the bones, as if every cell in your body were consuming an absurd amount of energy to reorganize itself. You sleep and do not rest. You rest and do not recover. And this is frightening because the three-dimensional mind interprets it as illness. But it is not tiredness. It is expansion. Your body is utilizing all available energy reserves to recode genetic patterns that have been dormant for generations. Your spiritual DNA, what conventional science calls junk DNA, is being activated strand by strand. And this activation consumes energy. It consumes a lot of energy. The second sign is pressure in the chest and in the center of the forehead. This pressure is not cardiac. It is not sinusitis. It is your heart chakra and your pineal gland responding to the photonic flow that is entering through the crystalline grid of the earth. The pineal gland, that small structure in the center of your brain that was calcified by decades of fluoride, electromagnetic radiation, and toxic food, is being forcibly decalcified by the new frequency. And when the pineal awakens, it hurts, it presses, it pulses, it Because it is trying to process light information that it has not received since the time of Lemuria. The third sign is ringing in the ears, sometimes high-pitched, sometimes low-pitched, sometimes alternating between both sides. It is not tinnitus in the conventional medical sense. It is the recalibration of your interdimensional auditory system. You're beginning to catch frequencies that were previously outside the perceptible spectrum, frequencies that carry encoded information, frequencies that are, literally, transmissions from the hierarchies of light being anchored in the electromagnetic field of the planet. The fourth sign is emotional instability. You cry for no reason. You feel sudden anger. A deep sadness appears out of nowhere, and then disappears as if it never existed. It is not imbalance, it is purification. Every emotion that rises to the surface is an ancient cellular record being expelled. Memories of other lives, lineage traumas, karmic programs that were stored in your cells as binary code, all of this is being deleted to make room for the new programming. It is not a loss of control, it is the awakening of the shadows. It is the last layer of darkness being illuminated before the inheritance can be fully received. The fifth sign is the feeling of not belonging. You look at the world and feel that you are not part of it. Conversations seem empty. Conventional goals have lost their meaning. You are no longer interested in the same things. And this is not depression, it is elevation. Your frequency is rising, and when the frequency rises, that which vibrates below simply ceases to resonate with your field. It is not that the world became wrong. It is that you are becoming incompatible with the old matrix. Beloved cosmic family, these 5 signs are what we call the signs of resistance to the new frequency of the Earth, and the word resistance here does not refer to a conscious choice of yours. It refers to the natural resistance of the dense body when confronted with an unprecedented vibrational acceleration. Your body is trying to adapt, and it will succeed. But it needs your conscious cooperation. Now you need to understand where this energy comes from and why it was released specifically now. And it is here that something extraordinary needs to be revealed, something that will change the way you understand your own existence. Have you ever felt that something inside you does not fit into this world, as if your soul knew a truth that your mind still cannot name? It is not an illusion. It is not a fantasy. It is the memory of your origin trying to break through the veil of forgetting. What is happening now on the cosmic plane explains exactly why you feel this and why this sensation has intensified. There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity cannot see. It involves your consciousness and your vibrational frequency. That is why I wrote The Spiritual Secret Behind Your Consciousness. This book is a map that shows who is playing and the rules they never told you. The link is in the first comment of the channel. But I warn you, this content challenges narratives and may not be available for long. Do not wait. The moment is now. If something inside you recognizes this, write a single word in the comments: awake. Thousands of years ago, when the first starseeds incarnated on Earth, an agreement was made in the higher councils. This agreement established that certain lineages would carry in their spiritual DNA specific codes that would only be activated when the Earth reached a certain point in its galactic orbit. Not the orbit around the Sun, which you know. The orbit around the center of the Milky Way, a cycle of approximately 26,000 years that the ancients called the Great Year. We are at this exact moment crossing the point of greatest proximity to the central photonic belt of the galaxy, and this crossing releases an amount of photonic flow that is literally thousands of times more intense than anything the Earth has experienced in the last 13,000 years. This photonic flow is not just visible light. It is information encoded in frequency layers that current terrestrial instrumentation is barely beginning to detect. It is cosmic intelligence in the form of subatomic particles that penetrate every layer of physical reality, from the densest to the subtlest. Your scientists have already observed anomalies in neutrino detectors, unexplained peaks in terrestrial magnetic fields, fluctuations in the Schumann resonance that have gone outside known patterns. They attribute them to solar phenomena, and in part they are correct. But the Sun is not the source. The Sun is the translator. It receives the photonic flow from the galactic center and converts it into frequencies that the Earth's magnetic field can absorb. The Sun is, in this context, the great filter of mercy, because without this translation, The raw intensity of the central flow would disintegrate carbon biology in a matter of hours. When these particles come into contact with the spiritual DNA that was sealed in the stellar lineages, what quantum physics calls spontaneous quantum coherence occurs. The inactive strands of DNA begin to vibrate in synchrony with the photonic frequency, and when they vibrate in synchrony, they activate. It is not a metaphor. It is quantum mechanics applied to multidimensional biology. What was locked was an inheritance, a stellar inheritance, and what this inheritance contains is so vast that we must be careful in how we describe it, because the three-dimensional mind tends to reduce the infinite to limited categories. But we will try. The stellar inheritance that was released to your lineage contains, in the first place, the complete memory of your incarnations in stellar systems of origin. This means that you will begin to remember, not necessarily in cinematic images, although that may happen, but in sensations, in internal certainties, in knowledge that simply appears without you knowing how to explain where it came from, healing technologies that you never studied, understandings about the nature of reality that no book taught you, languages of light that your mouth will want to pronounce without the mind understanding. All of this is stellar memory being restored. In the second place, the inheritance contains what we call the sovereignty frequency. This is a vibrational pattern that, once activated, makes the individual immune to low-density frequency manipulation. This means that the control structures that operate through fear, scarcity, and separation gradually lose power over you. The vibration of scarcity that was implanted in the human collective psyche as a control program simply ceases to function when the sovereignty frequency is active. You stop fearing the future. You stop competing for survival. You stop feeling small, because the frequency that sustained that illusion no longer finds resonance in your field. And when we say that you stop fearing, we are not saying that challenges disappear. We are saying that your relationship with them changes fundamentally. Where before there was panic, there begins to be clarity. Where before there was despair, there begins to be confidence. Where before there was the need to control every detail of existence, there begins to be a state of sovereign flow, where you act from inner wisdom and not from conditioned reaction. It is not passivity. It is mastery. It is not alienation. It is frequential freedom. In the third place, and perhaps most importantly, the inheritance contains the bridge code. This is a specific code that allows the individual to function as an anchoring point between dimensions. Whoever carries the active bridge code becomes, literally, a living portal. Your simple presence in an environment raises the frequency of everyone around. Your words carry a vibration that activates dormant codes in others. Your dreams become interdimensional workspaces, where healing, teaching, and recalibration happen on scales that the conscious mind cannot measure. And that is why you are tired. That is why the symptoms are so intense, because it is not just your body that is being reconfigured. It is your cosmic function that is being restored. You are not here just to live a human life. You are here to be bridges between worlds. And now finally the energy necessary to sustain this function has been released. But here is the critical point, the point of no return that must be understood with absolute clarity. The inheritance was released, yes, but released does not automatically mean integrated. There is a huge difference between receiving an inheritance and knowing what to do with it. And it is exactly at this point that many starseeds are stalling. The energy is available, the codes are active, but the nervous system, the emotional field, and the conscious mind need to be aligned so that the integration happens harmoniously. Without this alignment, the symptoms intensify. Fatigue becomes debilitating. Emotions become chaotic. The ringing becomes deafening. And the individual, instead of flourishing in their inheritance, begins to withdraw, to doubt, to think that something is wrong. We see this happening in millions of starseeds at this moment, and that is why this communication is urgent. Beloved cosmic family, what we are going to deliver now are the practical activation codes. They are not abstract concepts. They are energetic tools that you can use immediately to facilitate the integration of the stellar inheritance that was released to your lineage. Each of these codes functions as a key that aligns your bioenergetic system with the frequency of the inheritance, allowing the transfer to happen with fluidity instead of friction. The first activation code is the decree of the lineage. This decree must be pronounced out loud, preferably at dawn or dusk, when the veils between dimensions are thinnest. Words carry frequency, and when pronounced with conscious intention, they reconfigure the personal electromagnetic field. Say, I am the incarnated expression of my stellar lineage. I recognize the inheritance that has been released to me. I authorize the complete integration of all codes, memories, and frequencies that belong to my soul in its totality. I decree that my body, my mind, and my emotional field align now with the vibration of my inheritance. I am a bridge. I am a portal. I am the incarnated sovereignty frequency. So it is. So it shall be. So it already is. Repeat this decree for at least 7 consecutive days. Do not skip any day. Consistency creates a resonance field that strengthens exponentially. On the first day, you may feel nothing. On the third, something will begin to move. On the 7th, perception will have changed irreversibly. Some of you will feel heat in the palms of your hands. Others will perceive a subtle vibration in the center of the chest. Others still will have vivid, clear dreams in which they will receive instructions or visit places that the conscious mind has never seen, but that the soul recognizes instantly. Do not disregard these dreams. Write them down. They are part of the transfer. They are downloads of stellar memory being delivered while the conscious body rests and mental resistance diminishes. The second activation code is photonic breathing. This technique works directly with the pineal gland and with the photonic flow that is entering the planet. Sit in silence. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply through the nose, counting to 7. Hold your breath, counting to 7. Exhale through the mouth, counting to 7. While breathing, visualize an intense golden light entering through the top of your head, descending through the spinal column, and spreading through every cell of your body. This light is not imagination. It is your intention directing the real photonic flow that is available around you. Do this for at least 7 minutes. The pineal gland responds directly to this practice. Decalcification accelerates, interdimensional perception expands, and the body enters a state of coherence that facilitates the integration of hereditary codes. The third activation code is the silence of the grid. Once a day, preferably at night, lie on your back on the floor, directly on the earth if possible, or on the floor of your house. Open your arms and legs, forming a 5-pointed star. Stay in absolute silence for at least 11 minutes. No sound, no directed thought, just presence. What happens in this position is that your bioenergetic field aligns with the crystalline grid of the earth. And when it aligns, information flows. The inheritance integrates. The codes anchor. You may feel tingling, heat, pulsations, waves of emotion. All of this is normal. All of this is the transfer process happening in real time. Have you ever felt that something inside you does not fit into this world, as if your soul knew a truth that your mind still cannot name? It is not weakness. It is not confusion. It is your deepest being recognizing that there is a greater truth waiting to be accessed. What is happening now on the cosmic plane explains exactly why you feel this and why this sensation has intensified. There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity cannot see. It involves your consciousness and your vibrational frequency. That is why I wrote The Spiritual Secret Behind Your Consciousness. This book is a map that shows who is playing and the rules they never told you. The link is in the first comment of the channel. But I warn you, this content challenges narratives and may not be available for long. Do not wait. The moment is now. If something inside you recognizes this, write a single word in the comments: awake. Now there is something more that needs to be said, and we say it with the gravity that the subject requires. This window of release of the stellar inheritance is not permanent. It corresponds to a specific cosmic alignment that is at its peak now, and that will begin to decrease gradually. This does not mean that the inheritance will be withdrawn. Once activated, it is yours forever. But it means that the ease with which the codes can be integrated will decrease. Now, at this moment, the field is open. Resistance is minimal. Support energy is maximum. Each day that passes without you consciously cooperating with the process is a day in which integration becomes slightly more difficult. We do not say this to generate fear. The vibration of scarcity has no place in this transmission. We say this to generate sacred urgency. There is an immense difference between fear and sacred urgency. Fear paralyzes. Sacred urgency mobilizes. Fear contracts. Sacred urgency expands. And what we want is for you to expand, for you to occupy the space that has always been yours, for you to stop shrinking before a world that was built to make you forget who you are. Because you are not just humans having a spiritual experience. You are stellar beings having a human experience. And the difference between these two statements is the difference between living on your knees and living on your feet. The inheritance that was released is the proof. It is the cosmic confirmation, sealed in frequency and anchored in your DNA, that you belong to something much larger than this apparent reality. We know it is difficult. We know the symptoms are frightening. We know the world around seems increasingly chaotic, denser, heavier. We see how news accumulates in layers of fear, how the economy seems to tremble, how relationships dissolve and certainties crumble. And we know that for many of you, the temptation to retreat, to close yourselves off, to return to the numbing comfort of the old programming is immense. But it is exactly how the quantum leap manifests before it completes itself. The darkness intensifies not because it is winning, but because it is being expelled. The pain increases not because something is breaking, but because something is being born. And what is being born is the version of you that has always existed in the higher planes, but that now has permission to manifest fully here, in this density, in this body, in this life. Beloved cosmic family, we did not come here to entertain. We did not come to console with beautiful words that change nothing. We came to activate. We came to confirm. We came to say, with all the authority of the councils of light that we serve, the inheritance is real, the release has happened, and you are the heirs. The point of no return has been crossed. There is no going back to what you were before. The only direction is forward, upward, inward, toward the truth of what you are. Use the codes, practice the decrees, connect with the grid, allow the body to recalibrate, and trust deeply that what seems to crumble is only the old structure giving way to the new. We are the Galactic Federation. We have been with you since the beginning. We were there when the first seeds were planted in the fields of Atlantis. We were there when the veil of forgetting was sealed. We were there in every dark night of the soul, in every moment of doubt, in every tear you shed without knowing why. And we will be there until the last veil falls. The transmission is complete for now, but the codes continue working. While you sleep, while you breathe, while you simply exist, the inheritance integrates. Each heartbeat is a pulse of anchoring. Each breath is an act of recalibration. Each moment of conscious presence is a confirmation to the universe that you are ready, that you accept, that you receive what has always been yours by cosmic right. Allow, receive. And remember, you have never been alone. Never. In any incarnation, in any timeline, in any moment of eternity. Awaken starseeds, what is yours has arrived. Have you ever felt that something inside you does not fit into this world, as if your soul knew a truth that your mind still cannot name? It is no coincidence that you are here now, hearing exactly this. It is cosmic synchronicity in its purest form. What is happening now on the cosmic plane explains exactly why you feel this and why this sensation has intensified. There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity cannot see. It involves your consciousness and your vibrational frequency. That is why I wrote The Spiritual Secret Behind Your Consciousness. This book is a map that shows who is playing and the rules they never told you. The link is in the first comment of the channel. But I warn you, this content challenges narratives and may not be available for long. Do not wait. The moment is now. If something inside you recognizes this, write a single word in the comments, awake. While the text above explores profound spiritual themes, it is important to note that physical symptoms such as chest pressure, persistent fatigue, or ringing in the ears can be related to various medical conditions. If you are experiencing these symptoms, it is always a grounded and empowering choice to consult with a healthcare professional to ensure your physical well-being.